Let me ask you a brutal, uncomfortable question. How do you know the UN is no longer a humanitarian rights organization, but a political machine? When the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women looks straight at the footage of raped, mutilated Jewish women and responds, no independent investigation found rape took place on October 7. Shalom everyone, I'm Miguel and this is Middle East in less than 5 minutes. And yes, today we're going straight into the darkest moral failure the UN has ever displayed. The UN official who denies what the world saw. Her name is Reem Alsalem, Jordanian, born in Cairo, to Palestinian family. UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls. And look, her background matters, not because of where she was born, but because she has turned her mandate into a political weapon. But let me take you back. Al-Salem took her UN post in 2021. Nobody cared. Nobody knew her. Then October 7 happened. Yes, women raped, mutilated, burned alive, bodies desecrated, pelvises crushed, genitals butchered. Some raped so violently their hips dislocated. Some raped after death. Some raped in front of their children. This is all documented. There is forensic evidence, there's doctors' reports, police testimonies, eyewitness survivors, GoPro footage recorded by Hamas themselves. And what did the UN top expert on violence against women say? Nothing. Silence for weeks. Because she couldn't comment on things that have no proof. She needed independent verification. And when Israel provided that verification, forensics, videos, testimonies, DNA, rape kits, medical files, she still said no proof. But then, suddenly, she found so-called proof against Israel. Here's where it gets sick. In early 2024, without hesitation, Reem Alsalem accused Israel of multiple forms of sexual violence using the examples of, wait for it, strip searches. She redefined sexual violence into pat-downs, body checks, and security screenings. This woman went from rape, no evidence, to Israel is committing sexual genocide. I wish I were exaggerating. And it gets worse, much worse. In August 2025, in an interview with the New Arab, she declared, what is happening to Palestinian women is a deliberate destruction of their bodies because they are women and because they are Palestinian. This is gender genocide. Gender genocide. She invented a new category. But the UN didn't ask her to prove evidence for that one. No hesitation, no independent investigation needed. No demand for proof. Nothing. Because accusing Israel requires no evidence. Defending Jews? Impossible without 17 layers of independent verification from sources approved by Hamas. US Women? Even worse. US Women, the global agency tasked with protecting women, took 8 weeks to acknowledge Hamas mass sexual violence. 8. And then, after everyone noticed their silence, they posted a 1-paragraph statement. 2 days later, they deleted it from their website. It's vanished, disappeared, memory hold. Why? Because staff revolted. Internal email leaked showing UN women employees claiming that talking about Israel victims fuels Zionist narratives. This is a global women's right body. Let that sink in. And the UN's excuse for Reem Alsalem? It's beyond parody. When confronted, the UN said she's not saying the rapes did not happen, only that there is no evidence. You know what that means? Denying reality, but with diplomatic phrasing. When asked about her gender genocide claim, which has zero evidence, silence. No clarification, no data, no investigation. Because when it's Israel, truth is optional. The pattern nobody wants to admit. This isn't incompetence, it's ideology. Alsalem has a documented pattern of amplifying anti-Israel narratives. She has published statements through outlets deeply tied to Palestinian activism. She has been celebrated by groups aligned with Hamas propaganda. She consistently reframes every allegation against Israel as fact, and every allegation against Hamas as unproven. Here's the scary part. She holds one of the most powerful positions in the UN system, and she is rewriting the historical record. So, let's tell the truth. On October 7, women were raped. Women were mutilated. Women were tortured. Girls were burned alive. Bodies were desecrated in ways too horrific to describe on Instagram or TikTok. And the UN's top women's rights official looked at that horror and said, no proof. But on Gaza, on Israel, on Hamas claims, she needs no proof, only an agenda. And that, my friends, is how genocide lies are born. Not from facts, not from evidence, but from people in power deciding whom they choose to believe. And the UN, over and over again, chooses Hamas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, rate the podcast and share this episode. Because if the UN won't defend Jewish women, we damn well have to. Until next time, Shalom.